Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Contest of Speed EU2. My name is Dan. I'll be commentating this evening. Sat next to me is Joel. We're back as a dream team.
Yes,
yes. We're live from sunny Spain, just north of Barcelona, at the Circuit de Catalunya, for round 9 of Contest of Speed Season 7. We're getting towards the business end now, and I don't know, Joel, but can we have anything decided tonight? I know you've got the standings up.
I mean, my maths isn't exactly A star, but it doesn't. I don't think so. Snipes is leading the championship on 143 points. Tom Robbo is on 137, and Ricky on 120. So it's still pretty close.
Yeah.
Towards the top of the championship.
And no Snipes tonight, of course. So Tom Robbo with a great opportunity to actually take the lead.
Yes, certainly.
Tonight, Mozza standing in for the Ferrari man. What about constructors, Joel? Who's out in front?
So the Ferrari team are leading by just under 40 points, followed by Haas and then AlphaTauri, whose only points have been scored by Tom Robbo.
Right then, so as we see the first man start their flying lap, that's Arbar. He's on the medium tyre for this first run.
The best tyre to start on around here, if you can get yourself within that top 10 on the medium tyre. As we saw last night with Connell, you can be on for a great result.
Yeah, you can, and we'll be expecting in the race for them to be running, if they start on the mediums, a one-stop strategy. You can do that from the softs as well, but it's touch and go whether that's quicker than a two-stop, depending on how good you are on your tyres, of course.
Yeah, certainly. You've got to try and pull a big gap while you still have that tyre advantage. I think the softs are only really better than the mediums for 2-3 laps at max.
Yeah, and it can certainly be an issue for guys trying to decide that strategy. I've often gone with a two-stop. I'm not a fan of looking after my tyres. I can do it, but I'd rather be one that's pushing all the way.
Yep. So Arbar entering sector 3 now, been a pretty clean lap so far. See what Snipes going to do.
Yeah, poll from last night, Joel, you got it. What was it?
14.7. I expect we'll see that absolutely smashed tonight, as I thought we would probably be in the low 14s, but I was proven wrong.
Alright, and it's a 16.2 for Arbar then, first across the line, but Ricky goes across for the first soft run with a 15.7. That's fairly conservative. I would imagine Ricky, being the wily old fox he is, will be trying to qualify on the mediums.
Yeah, maybe looking for that P11 spot.
Yeah, we've got a Williams that's gone round, coming out of turn 9.
Oh dear.
And it's not Matt, so it will be the man standing in. That's Raggy. Yeah,
raced in EU3 last night and got a podium on the 2-stop.
Yeah, it was only down to penalties, wasn't it, that he didn't get more out of that. Did really, really well on the medium stint in the middle of the race, so I would expect him to probably do something similar tonight.
Yeah, I think he said something in the chat afterwards about Jeff putting him on the wrong tyres, so I think the 2-stop was probably accidental, so I don't think we'll be seeing that again tonight. Yeah,
a couple of guys who've stepped in tonight who were driving yesterday. One of them is Raggy, as we've said, in the Williams, replacing Don Ammo. The other is one of the latest additions to the Contest of Speed eSport family. That's JSAC. Not the best of drives last night. Had a couple of incidents which put him out of the running, but his qualifying performance put him right up there with a chance for the victory had he not had such an unfortunate race.
Yeah, his qualifying was very impressive. I think he managed P5 on the mediums, so I think he'll probably be looking for something similar tonight in terms of starting on the mediums, but maybe not inside the top 5.
Yeah. The other man, well, we've got 2 other new drivers. Let's just see what JSAC can do on his time lap. We'll ride on board as we through the others. Mercedes, we've got a new permanent driver. That is Bean there, SMM Bean, otherwise known as Bean Sandwich. Those of you who've been around cos for a while may remember him from AM1. He's regularly battling near the front. He's come to cut his teeth over here in the EU tiers. We wish him the best of luck. And the other one is a brand new driver to cos in the Alpha Tauri, replacing Thomas this evening.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to pronounce this one, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for something like Tiago, maybe. I don't know.
Tiago, we'll go with Tiago. Apologies if we're butchering that.
Probably are.
It's my understanding that he is French, so there will be probably some pronunciation that is correct that I'm unaware of in my Philistine ways. But, that's all the housekeeping then for today. Tichy has joined the lobby, and JSAT backs right off at the end of that lap to set 16 flat. Probably would have been close to what is currently P2, held by Perez, had he not done that.
He's on the soft, so probably looking to...
He'll be looking for mediums, won't he?
Tires. Yeah. KV sitting on pole with a 14.8.
Yep, 14.8 for KV.
Yep, Red Bull.
Yeah. Fastest medium runner at the moment is Emir in P3 with a 15.6, which is fairly competitive. It's not as good as JSAT managed yesterday, though. Not yet. We will be looking for around 15.2 to 15 flat for that time to be beaten.
Yeah.
And if we stick that back on best tyre, let's have a look then. Mozza in the Ferrari, stepping in for Snipes tonight.
Yeah, he's out on the medium tyre.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the general consensus is amongst this grid that the mediums are the best.
Yeah, and I think everyone outside the top 10 will be starting on the mediums 100%. There may be the odd one who goes for the hard tyre, try to do the reverse and take advantage of maybe a safety car or an inconvenient point for people, but
yeah,
for the most part, medium hard or soft hard is the way to go, with the possibility of a 2-stop in there as well. The Wizard then, as far as is the Wizard still racing on 4G upload?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's had struggles with his internet recently and has actually been racing on his mobile data, so
that's the commitment we like to see.
It certainly is. Been a part of COS for a very long time. He's pretty much had his hand in everything during his time here. And we've got a car off in Sector 3, that's one of the Alphas. Ran very wide, and I don't know if it was just to let people out of the way.
Yeah, I feel like it may have been. Maybe Tichy just
getting out of the way. Yeah.
Got out of the way as quick as he could.
Yeah, we saw there the other McLaren putting it on pole position, that's Perez, and the Wizard goes with a 16 flat, leaving himself room for improvement on either compound should he need it. Perez with a 14.8 to take pole position.
Yeah, puts himself original pole. I expect we'll be seeing, I don't know, maybe. It depends what tyre people decide to qualify on, but I would think we will possibly see some times quicker than that. Certainly
I would say so,
tyre.
yeah. Shall we, let's tell you what, let's ride on board with the new guy then. Just coming round towards the end of the lap. Let's give him a bit of a baptism of fire from a commentary point of view. Let's do our onboard lap with him then. Coming round the final corner then to start the lap. DRS is open, full throttle. Down the start-finish straight, heading towards turn 1, also known as the Elf Corner. A lot of names here that will probably ring bells to people who remember Alonso's title-winning seasons at Renault. Through turn 2 and 3, this is the Renault Corner, turn 3, up towards turn 4. Turn 4, also known as Repsol. Of course, when the MotoGP and the Superbikes come and race here, Repsol Honda. Turn 5, that's Seat, or Seat. Hang on, where you are in the world. turn 7 and 8. Up the hill now to Kampsa, turn 9. Depending on how brave they are, some guys will take that flat out. Turn 10 then, Lekaisha. I'm going to be butchering these. I can tell already, these pronunciations. Turn 11 then, through to turn 12. The Europe car, turn 12. Chicane there, and then final corner. Back to the start-finish straight. The wing opens. He sets himself at a time of 15.3. Not bad from Thiago.
Yeah, certainly a lot more time in that lap. He locked up into quite a few corners, so he'll be looking to go faster on his next attempt, as during that lap Matrix put himself into provisional P1.
He did, 14.8 still.
14.8. Yeah, getting towards the lower end.
Yeah, 3 drivers separated by less than 1/10 of a second. So they're moving on. Let's go to Bean, the other new man making his debut. Just to put that comment into context, the front 3 separated by less than 1/10 of a second. Just so you know how small of a time that is, the average human blink lasts 1/10 of a second. So when you blink, literally blink and you've missed the gap between them.
Yeah, tight margins.
Very, very tight margins. Which is why, I mean, we see gaps appear in here that are close to 2 or 3/10 of a second, and we see that, and we think in a context of F1 that's huge, and it is in F1's context, but in reality it's not very long at all.
And Tichy is facing the wrong way on the grass, getting out of the way of people. Taking some interesting methods to get out of the way.
Yeah, Titch not having his best season, getting used to both a wheel and having taken off certain assists. A lock up for Bean there on his mediums into the hairpin. And runs wide. Turn 12.
Yeah, he's going to complete the lap there.
Yep.
Around the final corner to set a
15
flat, which
on the medium tyre.
There's still more time in that, which there is. That's a very, very good lap. The parts where he wasn't making mistakes.
Yeah. Perez, first man out with a 14.8, a 14.7 for him to take provisional pole. Bean, incidentally, is 0.003 of a second ahead of Jasak. Both of them on the medium tyre. Jasak matching his performance from last night. And I'm just going to Google what takes 0.003 of a second. Because I want to know what that is. And sound really interesting. Sad, but interesting. Okay, so 1,000th of a second, that's 1 millisecond, is how long it takes for the flash in most digital cameras to go off. So yeah, that's loads of time. You get 3 whole pictures taken.
Fine margins.
Very fine margins.
As the majority of the field, other than Emir, who is just coming into the pits, and Ragn's on an outlap on the mediums, but other than that, there's not much action going on. as everyone is preparing themselves for
final runs.
final flying laps.
And we're ready to have a look. Fastest sectors at the moment. Fastest sector 1 is actually Arbar in P4 with a 20.9. Sector 2 is Yorno in P8, and sector 3 is Perez at the head of the pack. And J-Sack's retired. That's in the pit lane, so that's all he's going for. 15-0.
Was that set on the mediums?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, so he's happy with that lap, and if he gets himself inside the top 10, then that's impressive. As B follows J-Sack by retiring the pits, so currently 5th and 6th, both on the medium tyres. And I'm looking at the tyres people have got fitted, and Yono's on the mediums going out now. Tom Robber and Muzza look to be trying to set laps on the mediums, but other than that, and Raggy on the mediums, but other than that, everyone is on the soft tyre.
Yeah, Raggy's timed this quite well and got himself some traffic-free running to finish his lap now, and it looks very good. It's a 15.2, not quite what he'll have wanted, but it puts him into that sort of prime position, and as a last-ditch effort, that's not bad.
Yeah, that isn't bad, and even if he does get demoted a couple places, still, certainly I think in EU3 last night, the 6 of the eventual top 10 started outside of the top 10, so the alternate strategy is very, very OP around Spain. Yeah,
it is. And, Spain is a circuit you can make both an under and overcut work, depending on the compounds you're going on to. It's possible to overcut somebody on hard tyres if their tyre warm-up isn't great, and it's possible to undercut someone going on to mediums. So some tactical games to be played. Let's jump on with Kavy then. We've not had any Red Bull airtime so far, and then I'm considering Ricky after that as well, as we've got one of the Williams guys going very deep. That must be I think that'll be Raggy going deep at turn 10 to allow a Ferrari through of Timmy.
Yeah, and Kavy's 2/10 down on his time here, so he could put himself into a provisional pole position. Let's hope I haven't jinxed it, as Timmy goes with a 14.6 to finish his qualifying. Not
great lap from Timmy. One shot qualifying, puts it on pole, as Tom Robbo beats it on the medium tyre. That is spectacular, but what can Kavy do here? He can take it off him with a 14.5 as well. But the difference being Tom Robbo is on the medium tyre, and that lap is spectacular. Ricky has bailed out of his lap, and appears to have...
I wonder if he's eyeing up that P11 spot, because if he's starting on the softs in the lower ends of the top 10, this could be a tricky situation.
It could be. His teammate Emir goes into P6 on the soft tyre, pushing Ricky down to P10. And I've got to be honest, there's no one else out there who's going to put him out of there. So Ricky will start P10, but it will be on the medium tyre. So not the worst scenario in the world for him. But Kavy takes pole position just ahead of Tom Robbo, who put in... I think that's got to be one of the best qualifying performances ever. Lap.
Yeah, certainly. Like, that's what, like 6/10 quicker or whatever, like 7/10 quicker than the best medium lap from last night, and to get himself within what, 600ths of pole position on a compound that's about 6/10 slower is unreal. Yeah,
and half a second clear of anybody else on that compound of tyre. He starts in second place, and you've got to say he's looking the best bet at the moment. But Kavy takes his first pole position since his return, actually, and I think I'm right in saying his first EU2 pole position.
Possibly.
Yeah, with Timmy Ware 2 next in P3 in the Ferrari, having done essentially a one-shot qualifying. great stuff for him. Perez, not sure what happened late on to him. I'd imagine there was an invalidation somewhere on that final run. He starts P4. Matrix P5, always there. Can tonight be the night he regains the form we all know he has? Emir P6, Arbar in P7. And then you've got the next glut of medium runners. That's Bean, Jasak and Ricky. They will all start on those tyres. And from P11 down, have free choice. So that's Yorno, Jamie, Raggy, Stumpy, Tiago, Matt, Muzzer, Wisey Boy and Wizard. Of course, Titchy is in there as well, but he's not appearing on task for me at the moment.
Oh, and I mean, it's not raining, but it's certainly cloudy. I haven't heard any information from the weatherman. So
No, we'll have to keep an eye.
See what it... Yeah, I mean, I doubt it'll be really early because I think otherwise we would see. I don't know. I do think there's maybe quite a lot of people on softs, more than I expected.
Well, there was a fair few on softs. The other thing is the pole time wasn't massively quicker than yours from yesterday. It was only there was only a tenth in it, and I mean I don't want to be rude about you here, Joel, but KV is more than a tenth of a lap quicker than you in qualifying here. So I'm just wondering whether or not maybe there's some hybrid setups going on, or people are being a little bit more careful on the tyres to stretch them. Perhaps I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get you all hyped up for nothing, but Dracer has just informed us that it will be a dry race. So.
Oh, Andreas! Stop spoiling everything! Although, to be fair, if it's overcast at any point, we know what Codemasters are like. There could be some spots of rain. It might not be enough to break out the intermediate tyres, but you never know. So, let's have a look then at the tyre compounds everybody is on for tonight's race. Top 10, of course, have to start on the tyres they qualified on earlier. If you're new to F1 and new to the game, of course. Outside the top 10, they have free choice of tyres. So Yorno, Jamie are on the mediums, followed by Raggy, who's gone for the hard tyre. Going to go for the reverse tonight of what he did, or what he planned to do yesterday. Mediums for Stumpy in P14. Then Tiago has gone for the hard tyre. Matt and Moz are on the mediums. Wisey Boy and the Wizard have gone for the hard tyre, and Titchy at the back in P20 has gone for the medium tyre. Now there's a fair gap opening up here of drivers not closing in on the guys around them. Timmy, incidentally, underfueled.
Yeah, certainly KV not hanging about on this formation lap.
No, it's the best tactic he's got, really, but Timmy needs to close up here before the end of this lap, as does Matrix, because leaving more than a 10 car length gap in front of you on the formation lap is punishable under the rules and regulations.
Yeah, Matrix hasn't done so, really.
He is already under AI control, though, let's not forget that. He won't have that much time. I believe it's... The official timing is it 90... No, not 90 seconds, it can't be that long. Is it 30 seconds between the first and last car appearing on the grid? Something like, I'm not sure. But we'll get ready then to go racing in Spain. As we see the cars file onto the grid. Final car being Titchy's Alfa Romeo. KV sits on the start line ready. Around this track he won't mind his tyres getting a little bit cold. But let's get ready then. Watch the bottom right, ignore the lights. We wait for the revs to build. Here we go! And they're away in Barcelona. It's a great start from Tom Robbo, who looks to try and go down the inside of KV, but it's going to be an even better start from Perez, who flies up the inside towards turn one. Is he going to go for the lead? No! KV holds it. Timmy going to go round the outside of Perez. He's now going to go across the sleeping policeman. Timmy's lost out there. KV holds the lead from Perez. Tom Robbo, Matrix up to fourth. Timmy down to P5. off that opening lap. Off the opening first few corners, really. Arbar in P6 and Bean in P7. Crucially for Bean on those medium tyres, he's held position. The other man on the mediums from there is Jasak. He's dropped right down. He's in P12 at the moment, battling with Jamie.
Yeah, great start for Tom Robbo. Held as many positions as he really could have hoped for. Perez and Timmy getting good launches as well, but Tim getting a little bit squeezed by Perez through turn 2, so he dropped back behind Matrix. But yeah, great start from Perez as he now looks to pressure KV for the lead of this race.
These two at the front need to really start to put the hammer down and try and lose Tom Robbo behind them to have any chance of holding position, or they're going to have to try and take advantage of a well-placed safety car. Soft tyres around here at the start of the race, we're looking at approximately 6 to 8 laps on them. For anybody doing a 1-stop, if someone's going to go for a 2-stop and be adventurous, you might see people stop as early as lap 4. It just depends. Also, if we see a safety car at any point in that window, we will see everybody on the soft tyre come into the pits.
Yeah.
So down the main straight
then. If you're going for the 2-stop, you don't want to be doing what Raki did last night with the soft, medium, soft.
No.
The soft, medium is...
Yeah, that's the way to go. Potentially a soft, hard, soft you could make work if you get safety cars at the right times or VSCs. But you'd have to have things go your way to make that work properly.
Yeah.
So everybody being quite well behaved at the moment. The brothers Riley falling off the back of the pack a little bit. As far as I'm aware, we've got no damage at the moment.
Yeah, pretty clean start as a
Everybody's
DRS
behaving.
train will probably start to form. It's quite
well,
regular.
at the moment it's the DRS train all the way back from P1 to P18. Everybody is still in that window, which is unusual to say the least. The Wizard, the one man who's out of there at the moment. So looking at the big winners from the early stages of the race, the first couple of laps, big winner is Matt up 5 places to P11. Good job from him. Big loser Jasak down 5 as well. And as we enter lap 3, and we're going to have a DRS enabled, so we can have a look and see who's going to be in a position to potentially make a move. Perez maybe for the lead. But what I do think, Joel, that's interesting is if you look at the tyres everybody's on, they've sort of put themselves where you would expect them to be. So the soft runners have managed to get ahead of the majority of the medium guys, Tom Robbo being the odd one out there. The medium runners have got themselves ahead of the hard runners, with the exception of Raggy in P13, who's holding his ground. And as Matt's the first man on the naughty step, 3 seconds of time penalties. He gave me grief last night for my penalty count, so we'll keep an eye on that, see what he gets by the end of the race.
Yeah, back to what you were saying about the soft tyres runners separating themselves from the medium runners. I think with this, it's the longest run down to turn 1 in the entire calendar.
So I would have thought Mexico would be longer than that, surely.
I think they're pretty close, but...
Oh, KV there! Oh, just wiggled a little bit under braking there, KV, to block the McLaren. There's no damage for Perez, but KV living dangerously.
Yeah, a bit aggressive from the Red Bull, that's for sure. But that may just give Perez more incentive to make the move stick next time.
Possibly so. We are now entering the stage where Tom Robbo's medium tyres will start to have a performance advantage over the soft runners. So keep an eye out for him as well, coming back at this leading pair. He's not dropped away for the whole of this early stage.
Yeah, certainly. And the longer he's in the DRS of these soft runners, the happier he'll be, because... well, they're just not going to be pulling away that gap that they need to.
One thing I would say about Tom Robbo, though, his front left tyre seems to be taking a bit of a pounding, which, to be fair, you would expect. Heavy fuel load, in turbulent air as well, but maybe not by the extent that it is, so we'll keep an eye on that as well.
Yeah, there's quite a few pile of left-handers around.
As Perez
is gonna go round
around the outside of Cavey, who locks up, but Perez there will force his way through to take the lead of the Grand Prix. On board with Cavey then, who tried to fight back but had to get out of the throttle.
Yeah, I think he had to lift off a little bit there, as the understeer was probably going to make him run wide, which would have given him a track invalidation and possibly spun, as it is quite slippy once you leave the track.
Yeah, Cavey's struggling really with his with the tyre that's loaded up at the front of the car. Now they're both wearing pretty heavily, having been at the front and leading the way. Tom Robbo, I think, is going to eye him up, if not down this back straight, down the main straight. If I'm Cavey, I'm going to consider pitting this lap and cutting the losses on those tyres, because he's now going to start losing ground to Perez.
Yeah, I think this lap is probably the earliest you can pit. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Cavey being one of the first people into the pits, as Perez has already broken the DRS to Cavey. Oh, when he gets 3 seconds.
Yeah, runs wide on the exit of the penultimate corner out of the chicane. But Cavey like managed to get DRS though, crucially for him.
Yeah, somehow, I don't know.
Yeah, but he managed it. Tiago found himself some clean air, improved his time by 7/10 of a second that time around as a personal best. So maybe the hard tyres now starting to come into play as well.
Yeah, certainly the hards are one of the tyres which feel the nicest around this track, along with the mediums. I think once you wear them in a little bit past that 20% mark, they feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah, pit delta around here is around 20 to 21 seconds. So at the moment, if the leaders were to pit, they would come out at the back of the pack.
Yeah, and the DRS train is still going strong. It breaks at the Mercedes of Jamie just about in P12.
Yeah,
by about a tenth of a second.
Cavey's carrying on again, and I think we will see a move from Tom Robbo this time. We've got a car going slow. That looks like Wisey Boy in sector 3. He's got it recovered though, as we see a move for second place.
Yeah, and Cavey's not going to fight that. Tom Robbo has the tyre advantage, and I think he'll be eyeing up Perez in the next few laps, should the McLaren stay out. Yeah,
I think Tom Robbo, well, he's just set the fastest first sector of anyone so far there, and with Perez locking up as he just did then, I don't think it'll be long. I'll be honest, I'm surprised we've not seen a soft runner pit yet. I thought we might see someone pit early and try the 2-stop, just in case. If they get a safety car at the right time, it could really be beneficial, but they're all seemingly going to go for the 1-stop to the hard tyre.
Yeah, well, I think in a DRS train like this, I think going for a 2-stop would just be outright stupid, as you'd have so much traffic and people holding you up and not being able to make moves because other people have got DRS around you, so
yeah,
it'll just be a bit of a
we've got Tichy has retired.
The wall.
And KB boxes followed by Matrix. They're in, just made it in before that barred on the entry there.
Yeah, and Perez missed the pit, so he didn't get to come into the pits under the effect of the virtual safety car, which could have a big impact on this race.
And we'll see what happens. Yorno's carried on, but he's on the wrong tyre. Matrix held a little bit in the pit. Arbar there compromised massively, having to box and stack with his teammate. We can see Emir there has jumped Matrix in the pits. KV has got out way ahead. Timmy's jumped as well. A lot of guys having changed positions. There's a collision there with Matrix and Emir on the exit.
Wisey Boy gets a drive-through penalty. That's probably race over now for the Racing Point.
And Matrix has wing damage there, having made contact with Emir. So I can't lie, I think that's race over for him as well. He's on the hard tyre now, and it's a significant chunk.
Yeah.
Yep, That's Matrix probably out of the running here. 51% damage to the right-hand side of that car. Matrix will keep going though, and he will keep trying. It's unfortunate for him. He was in a good position.
Yeah, he was.
Jamie has a moment.
3 seconds.
Yeah. Stumpy then down in 18th place, having lost his teammate now, the sole remaining Alfa Romeo. Jamie at the back of the
Robbo's
pack.
got past Perez, we completely missed that.
And Jorno past Ricky.
Ricky are battling. Yeah, Ricky's going to come back at him here. Through turn 3 as he backs out. And let Jorno keep the position for now. Ricky probably just playing it safe.
Yep, okay. That's the Wizard, as does Timmy, sneaking his way through there at turn 1. And Matrix is retired in the pits. That's not unexpected, to be fair, and it's the sort of season he's had. As much as I can understand why he stopped there.
He's not retired, he's just left the session. That's not advised. But
well, it may be a connection, you don't know.
Well,
we'll have to wait and see. It probably will be a rage quit, if such a thing is appropriate to say for that, but we'll find out soon enough. So then, leading man who hasn't stopped is KV. Or who has stopped, rather, is KV. Tom Robbo's still the man up front. And Perez, is he finally coming into the pits? No, he's going again.
Yeah, I mean, his tyres are at 81%. I don't really understand why he's not coming into the pits. He's not going to try a soft medium.
Let's see.
Stupid, to be honest, but
let's just have a look at his lap times here. If I compare him to... Well, I'll compare him to Tom Robbo in the lead of the race.
Yeah.
Then, looking at his own lap times, he's now a significant amount of time slower.
Yeah, it's 1.6 seconds last lap.
Yeah, it was a connection. Look,
rejoined the session, so it was a connection.
Yeah, I think you've got something to say to him.
Yeah, I can only apologise.
So Perez then started off setting low 18s, low 19s, rather high 18s, moving into the mid 19s, and he's now into the 20s. And as he finally pits 10 laps into the race, how he's made them last that long, I will never know. Takes out the pit,
to get a
pit marker
not
board
get a
there.
puncture, to be honest.
Yeah.
Given he's got 89% on that front left.
And he has gone for the hard tyre, so he will go to the end from here. And it's not going to be a bad call for him, as Wisey Boy pits from...
Drive-through.
Is it his drive-through?
Drive-through. Yeah, he's serving his drive-through.
Okay. As Perez then comes out just ahead of his teammate, who will not challenge him there.
Yeah,
Wizard
so
knows
that
the game.
VSC / staying out all those extra laps has cost Perez three positions to KV, Timmy and Bean.
Well, it has, but his tyres are going to be essentially 3 laps younger. And I mean, if we're going to look at damage percentages, then he's got 10% better wear than those guys ahead of him. It will make a difference later in the race. And he's not he's not a million miles away. I mean, we're going to have to wait for the timing screen to come back up, so we'll just get rid of it for the time being. And when they come around to cross the line again with Matrix rejoining, that will come back as Jorno pits, and this is a scheduled stop.
Yeah, I mean, he was ahead of Ricky, right? But maybe he's going for not an undercut, because I don't think he's not going to undercut Tom Robbo, but maybe he's going to box early and try and pull a gap from Ricky and hold on to the end.
Maybe he has gone for the hard tyre, so it could work out for him.
Yeah, I mean, if he's going to pit this early, he may as well have just started on the softs, to be honest.
Yeah, as we see Matt make his way past the Wizard into P11.
Yeah, and if you just look at the front of the field, look at the gap Tom Robert already has, 6.5 seconds to Ricky behind him, and
the only thing I would say
Yeah.
with that gap is, with the guys who've stopped between where Tom Robbo was and where Ricky was,
yeah,
I don't think that gap is particularly big. I mean, it is
well,
big, but relatively
they paid
speaking,
under a safety car, didn't it? Under the safety car, virtual safety car, so that has certainly mixed things up, and KV and Timmy and Beanle and Perez will be thankful that the VSC came when it did.
well, Perez probably not. He could have done with it staying out and
yeah, true.
lose those. Because if it had, let's be honest, if it had, then the guys who are now ahead of him would actually be behind him. Perez's pace was pretty good on those soft tyres for as long as he was out on them. As we're going to see Bean probably look for a move on Timmy here. Into turn one. And he makes that move relatively easily.
Yeah, now Timmy's still under-fueled, so he's not really going to have all that much to push back at the Mercedes with. He's got to be conservative with his fuel.
Yeah, ERS of course.
Throughout sector 3 is probably what he's going to be doing, but
I don't know whether he'll be able to save that much fuel though, depending on what he's under-fueled by.
yeah, let's have a look. So he is on minus half a lap, so he's still got quite some fuel to save before he can even start burning any.
Yeah, and now is when we're seeing the hard tyres come into their own. Look, Raggy closing in on the back of Ricky.
Yeah, and you've got to think with Raggy being able to stick with Ricky, he's going to be in prime position
to challenge Tom Robbo towards the end of this race as well. Yeah. Jasak into the pits.
Yeah,
he'll be going for the
1-2 laps early.
Potentially. Medium tyres can go fair distance into the race. I mean, they are looking at now at the point where they would want to stop to sort of keep the advantage. I'll be interested to see where Jasak comes out in relation to Yorno. Yeah, quite a way behind him. So
yeah, 2.2 seconds. But I don't think that's too different to the gap that it was between them before, really. I think,
no. But of course, the overcut is an option around here if you go for the one lap effort, especially when you're both going to the harder tyre.
Yorno obviously now sitting behind our bar and probably getting, I don't know how long he's been there, but a couple laps maybe of dirty air and understeer and all the things that you get sitting behind another car, and with Spain being difficult to overtake.
Yeah, Ricky and Tom Robbo both into the pits, so Raggy will take the lead of the race. This is now the time when he has to push and push fairly hard to try and make the most of the time he's going to have on those tyres.
Yeah, certainly it's hammer time, as some people would say. It's Tom Robbo. Let's see where he's going to come out. Is he going to jump? He's jumped KV and Bean. Bean's got past KV. We didn't notice that, or at least I didn't.
No, I think that's quite a recent move. But I think the crucial thing though is that the guys who started on the softs are still with him. They're still there, and that VSC has put them in that position. Now they can, in theory, go to the end on those tyres. So it will all be down to the natural pace of Tom Robbo, but he needs his teammate to get out of the way really and try and hold Bean and KV up. Otherwise, he's going to have trouble heating those tyres through, and Bean can come and attack him.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he's going to get out of the way, that's good teams play there.
It is. And parks it on the apex as well to block Bean from going for the undercut. Or the switchback, rather. The undercut's the pit stop tactic. I'm not sure quite how long Thiago will be able to hold Bean up for, but every little helps. And Tom Robbo now trying to get away.
Yeah, he's got the ARS to burn. He's going to burn it to act as a rear gunner. So
This could be some spectacular team play from the Frenchman. First racing cause, of course. Lock up there, but that's going to stop Bean from going for it. It's going to put him at risk to a counter-attack from Cavey, who's sitting right on his gearbox. We can see there. And Bean has to go defensive into turn 4 to stop Cavey going for the dive down the inside.
Yeah, Zarbar's picked up another 3 seconds, so he's on, I think, 6 seconds now, and that's not going to help him, especially given his tyre situation.
Emir and... Oh, Emir's got wing damage from somewhere. Not sure what happened there. It's only just happened, but there's a significant amount of wing damage for Emir, so... I just saw Mozza coming through, and I thought there was going to be some audacious move into turn 4, but it's not. Emir struggling massively with damage. So Haas not looking brilliant at the moment. Ricky in P9.
Oh, has made a big mistake in sector 3, and he's right on the back of Tigo, and yeah, he's dropped 8 tenths back now, and that's going to put him at risk from Cavey. Cavey's not going to burn any ERS, so Bean should be good for now.
Cavey playing the long game, I feel, with his ERS. Of course, winning and saving it back around this track is particularly difficult. You spend a lot of time on the throttle around the Barcelona circuit. Although there's plenty of corners to get it back under braking. Emir has retired in the pit lane. I'm not surprised there, he was down at the back and had that wing damage anyway.
Yeah, getting wing damage when you're on the hard tyre is horrible, I mean, you probably could have picked a mediums and made the end, but... yeah.
Cavey then starting to drop away a little bit from Bean now, who is right on the back of Tiago again as they come down towards turn 10. Is he going to go for it down the inside? He's trying it. He's not going to have the drive on the exit though. Tiago's going to cling on there. Look at that. And Bean's gone round.
Oh.
I can't... it wasn't the best place to try and overtake. Tiago had every right to keep his car where it was.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird incident.
Yeah, Bean there coming off worst. But
Bean's
Tiago...
wing, like, clipped the inside of Tiago's left front. It was... very strange. Yeah, very odd collision as Cavey gets ahead of Tiago though. Look at that. Oh no, he doesn't. Never. Yeah, he does. I'm getting AlphaTauri and Red Bull confused. Tiago though, I'm not really. Yeah, Tiago. I haven't got data for his tyres, but. He's done a good job so far as playing wingman for his teammate. 2.5 seconds then Tom Robbo has now over Cavey, who is his closest rival. Yeah, if he wasn't already, Tiago has certainly put Tom Robbo in prime position to win this race. And what with his closest rival, let's have a look. Who would you say his closest rival is? Cavey?
It's going to be Cavey. It's going to be Cavey, yeah. Raggy's going to drop 8 seconds further down the field, so he's going to come out around Yorno and Arbar, maybe even JSAC, and that's too far to make that back up, I think.
Yeah, and I think it was Monaco where Tom Robbo had quite a dominant win, but this one looks like, well, I don't want to curse anything or ruin it for him, but this one looks like it's going to be another dominant win for the AlphaTauri.
It certainly looks that way. Speaking of AlphaTauri, Tiago comes into the pits then for what should be his one and only stop. Medium tyres go onto the car and he's away cleanly. Yeah,
pretty solid stint there.
Raggy, I would imagine, as he picks up 3 seconds, if that wasn't already a difficult job for him, it's now been made even harder.
Yeah, certainly, as the pack is still very, very bunched up, especially from KB downwards. Well, KB downwards / Matt downwards. And if Raggy comes out within that train, he could find himself dropping to the back of the train at the end of the race.
Ricky eyeing up a move on Matt then for P6. Former teammates, of course, all the way back in Season 2 at Haas. These guys. Both have since moved on to bigger and better things, but they find themselves again here battling.
Yeah, obviously no strangers to one another, battling all throughout last season for the EU3 championship, and Ricky ended up coming out on top. I wonder if we'll see the same ending today. Possibly
so. Raggy into the pits then. That's possibly a lap earlier than I thought he would be, and he's going to come out just behind Yorno. He's going to fight the Renault and the Red Bull and come out between the two. So he's behind Yorno in P8. He's done quite well there to get himself ahead of Arbar. That was the...
I think he would have rather been in front of the Red Bull, to be honest. So now
I do think, though, that's probably the best he could have hoped for.
Yeah.
From where he was.
I mean, it's just such small margins. Oh, he's got... no, he hasn't yet.
Raggy. He lost the back end. He's kept it in check, though, but he's lost those 2 places. It's going to be a drag race with JSAC, but the Pink Panther should have it. Raggy going down the inside of the hairpin, though, turn 10. And now he's gone. And that's wing damage for the Williams, and that, I'm afraid, is race over for Raggy.
Yeah, stuck in the wall? I don't know.
I think so. He's waiting for everybody to come past. So
waiting for everyone to go past.
Yeah. And now he can get himself away again. I'll be honest, he's lucky not to have retired from that collision. Just seemed to spin the rears up on the exit, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, well, I think JSAC got on the exit curb and ended up sort of having a little bit of back end loss. He gets a 10-second time, but he's in the pit wall.
He is, and we were on board for that, so that will go down in the blooper reel of course. I don't think we'll have a safety car for that, because the pit entry wall is not usually something that draws one out. Normally the pit lane would be closed at this point as they cleared that debris.
Yeah.
That's Raggy out of the running then. Williams down to 1 car. 3 retirees so far then. That's Tichy, Emir and Raggy.
Timmy's got himself past Katie. So Timmy is now up into P2 for the time being.
Well spotted. Well spotted, Joel. KV seems to be good at the start of the stint, but can't keep the tyres in that window. I don't know if they're overheating, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare them to Timmy's tyres, his front left is on 43 and Timmy's is on 49. So maybe KV's just playing the long game. Timmy has absolutely destroyed those tyres.
Possibly. KV, no! Big crash from KV as Perez comes through and says, that's my position. Elbows were out there. And that's only a virtual safety car. That was a massive impact for KV.
That was a massive shunt, yeah.
That's where Alonso crashed in testing a couple of years ago in real F1, where he blacked out for a short period before hitting the wall. VSC deployed. Again, surprising that's not a full safety car. Can't lie on that one.
Certainly.
And one of the protagonists then out of the running. What I was about to say though, Joel, Timmy, I mean, he's dropped away a bit now under the VSC. I wonder if he's saving himself some room to push. No, he's just dropped away. He's lost a fair bit of time.
Now you've got to say Perez surely in the prime position to take P2 here. His tyres are significantly in better nick than the Ferraris.
Yeah, but Timmy had the better restart, so has managed to give himself some breathing room, breaks the toe down the straight. But what I was about to say, Joel, is that Timmy is catching Tom Robbo and is pulling Perez with him. And has been ever since he managed to clear KV. So I'm just wondering whether or not Tom Robbo is either... I mean, he is definitely looking after the tyres better than Timmy is. They're half as old.
Yeah.
But in terms of wear, it's roughly the same. So I just wonder whether Timmy's just got the pace here.
to be honest, I think Tom Robbo might just be playing it really conservative and just looking after his tyres, you know, just in case there's a late safety car and he still needs that tyre life, if he needs to push away from soft runners or
possibly,
something like that. Just he's got no reason to push, do you know what I mean? So,
yeah. Do you know the other thing that's interesting, and I've only just noticed this, look at P4.
Yeah.
And he's there on merit. It's not because of any tomfoolery or strategical master planning. He's there on pace and pace alone. Needs to get himself closed up to Perez though.
Holding Ricky behind, and I don't know what his penalties are like. Only 3 seconds, so I mean that'll drop him behind Ricky and Jono as it currently stands. But he's still on for P7.
Stumpy, big wing damage there for the Alpha, who's lost it on the exit of the final corner. We can see on the map there in the bottom right hand corner. No retirement though.
Yeah, a bit of an odd place to lose it, especially on this game. Maybe in the previous games with the lack of downforce on the old cars, you may have found yourself losing it more there, but...
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. I've just taken a look at the penalty scenario. Matt is 1-1 away from 6 seconds, but Ricky is only 1-1 away from his first penalty, so that could swing either way. Yorno has no warnings as of yet, so he would jump both of them. The other man who is clear on penalties, the other men I should say, Tom Robbo only has 1 warning so far. Timmy is 1 warning away, he's got 2 at the moment. Bean also with 2. And who's the other one? The Wizard. 1 warning for the Wizard. Everybody else, of course, has a penalty at the moment.
Tom Robbo must have heard us.
So we see Perez there. Yep, goes for the move on Timmy, gets it done nice and early. Ricky is looking at Matt. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough though, not quite.
Yeah, I think he's been looking for quite some laps now. Tom Robbo's really put the hammer down.
He has. He's starting to pull away. Although Perez has just beaten him in sector 1 straight away again. So
part of that could have been due to
DRS
plus overtake mode, probably.
We'll have to wait and see then.
Perez's penalty situation is going to help him out here. I mean, he's only got 3 seconds, so if you can pull away from Timmy, then a podium is, well, P2/P3 is certainly alive.
Certainly is. Just looking back from Matt's car at Ricky. Ricky seems to lose.
Just can't close up.
Yeah, he seems to lose time. The low speed corners and in a straight line, which would indicate to me running a lower wing. But he's trying to get the traction from his suspension, and that's not going to be helpful if he doesn't have the outright mechanical downforce. Matt, of course, being in clear-ish air, is going to have the full downforce effect, not have any dirty air to contend with.
Yeah.
And then Ricky's going to... See there, look, Ricky drifting out. I know Matt came tight to try and break the toe, but...
Yes, Matt's tyres are on 70% on that front left. And...
Is it that bad?
Yeah, I mean 69, so we'll call it 70. But I didn't think...
Quiet children, don't you all laugh in the chat. I know what you're doing already. But yeah, Matt's going to have to stop, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he'll have to. So surely maybe Ricky's getting info that Matt's tyres are out the window and he's just sitting here waiting. Obviously having no penalties, if he can, once he's cleared Matt, push onto the back of Timmy and Perez, it could be on, well. Oh, as Matt gets another 3 seconds, that's killer. That's going to drop him.
Yeah.
Oh, it won't actually have an effect given up. Oh, actually it might drop him past Bean, so into P7 that is. Ricky's going to get past Matt here.
Yeah.
Matt's not going to fight that. He doesn't have the ERS and the tyre life.
No, and I think we could see Matt stop this time around for a set of soft tyres to try and blitz the last 6 or 7 laps.
I wonder where he'd come out. Let's have a look. So he come out P11, P11, no P12, I think.
The Wizard has just stopped, having gone from the start on those tyres, and they were close to 80%. So Matt there with Yorno for company, and Yorno might try moving to the hairpin. No, not quite close enough. The man I'm interested to see what happens with is Timmy, because Timmy's tyres are the same age as Matt's. Granted, Matt has had to push more on his, but I'm intrigued because he's still hanging on in there, and Matt is coming into the pits now.
Yeah, and I wonder whether it's a stretch, but maybe whether it's a controller problem. Obviously, when racing on controller, you don't quite get that same smooth input, and around these long corners, you're almost dragging the tyres through these long corners. You see the likes of Arbar, Timmy, B, and Matt all on controller, suffering with a lot more tyre wear. And I know their tyres are older, but
yeah. It's come out in P10 just ahead of JSAC, so good stop from the Williams crew, or rather their virtual counterparts.
He'll probably be aiming maybe to get himself into P8 maybe by the end of this race if he really blitzes it.
Possibly. He would need Mozza probably to get himself another penalty to make that a realistic option, but it's Mozza, so you never know. I wouldn't bet against him getting another penalty, personally. You know.
I believe in Mozza. I believe in him.
Sorry, for anybody who's listening and doesn't know, me and Mozza have a friendly rivalry. I'm not just being mean and facetious for the sake of being mean and facetious. Yorno then looking for a move on Ricky down the inside of turn 1. Timmy blocked the Haas, and that allowed the Red Bull to pounce. And he takes it round the outside of 2 and holds it through 3 as Ricky gets a penalty for his trouble.
Yeah, I think he can maybe get that one removed if he believes it was unfair, as they were wheel to wheel and there wasn't really anywhere else for him to go. So, but yeah, Yorno, I mean, we haven't really talked about him, but he's right in the back of Timmy now, and
yeah, clean for penalties as well. Timmy, I think, can make this. I think Timmy can make this. Perez has stretched away, but so has Tom Robbo now. They've both pulled away.
Oh, and the stump is out. Safety car.
Full course safety car. Now then, this is interesting. Let's see. Tom Robbo
stays out. Perez pits.
Perez in. I would imagine Timmy's going to stop as well. Yep. Yorno stays
out. That's good for Tom Robbo.
Ricky is in. Arbar in. Bean in. Mozza a long way back, but I would imagine he'll stay out. Although I don't think there's much point. He's so far back, he might as well stop. Nearly lost it himself coming out of the chicane there, and he does pit. Tiago continues.
Tom Robbo needing that maybe little bit of extra tyre life come the end of the race. Well,
yeah, this is why.
Now we'll see whether it was worth it.
Matt's come back in, which I think is a mistake. If I was Matt, I would have stayed out. Yeah. Although, I was thinking about it though, because Jamie's coming behind him, he might as well.
I mean,
he would have jumped Mozza, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And of course, penalty-wise, it's not going to make. It might make a difference. We'll have to wait and see. The man I'm going to be interested to see what happens now is Matrix in P13. He's stayed in the race all this time. He's had connection issues. He had his wing damage. He's had a small crash. I'll be intrigued.
Yeah, this is why.
I'll be absolutely intrigued.
Oh, it's Tom Robbo pits.
He's coming in. Now that's going to force Yorno to pit. It has to. But he doesn't. Jarno continues.
Yeah, I think that's a big mistake from Jarno. I think Tom Robbo has played that very well, actually.
Yeah, he kept himself.
Out, seen what others do, and then still got that time to pit.
Yeah, he's got the window ahead of Perez because he managed to get himself out ahead of the safety car. So now he's not under a delta, or wasn't for the second half of that lap, and could push to the pits. Jarno going for track position is all well and good. We'll get one lap probably of racing here at the end of this race.
I mean, you say Jarno's made a mistake, but Spain's such a difficult track to overtake that. I mean, I believe Tom Robbo will be able to overtake him.
This is where the restart for Jarno is absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
It's absolutely critical he gets the perfect restart to try and clear that Red Bull away from the AlphaTauri. Otherwise, Tom Robbo will have a... Yeah, he's going to have a dive into turn one and then...
He's trying to push the safety car as much as he can. He wants it in as soon as possible before the field all catch up to the back of it, but I don't think it's going to happen for him.
No, it is.
In this lap.
So we're going to have 2 laps of racing. That's not what Jarno would have wanted. He'd have wanted one more.
Well, you say that, but if it comes in now... I don't know, actually. I think...
because by the end of the lap, Matt will have caught up, and that's all of the points paying positions, and then some caught up with the field. One more lap would have played into Jarno's hands. I think he could hold off Tom Robbo for 1 lap. I don't think he can hold him off for 2.
Yeah, well, I certainly don't think Jarno... Well, I don't think Tom Robbo's going to let Jarno win this race, to be honest. I think...
No, I would agree with you. He's going to fight this to the very end. Oh,
Jarno's
gone! He's gone! He's lost it! He went for the restart, he went early, but he's lost the car! And that's the drama we would have had has now been replaced by something else as Tom Robbo retakes the lead and now has 2 laps to cruise to the finish. But Perez isn't going to make it that easy, neither is Timmy.
Oh, and that's such a shame for the Red Bull driver. He was in a great position to possibly score himself a podium. And, yeah, I didn't realise George Russell had signed for Red Bull, that's for sure.
It's such a shame for Jarno. Drops himself out of the points, and with the wing damage he does have, in the sense that he doesn't have a front wing anymore, that he's not going to be able to do anything about it, and that's such a shame. That's heartbreaking, really.
Yeah.
It's nothing we like to say, but it does add some drama, doesn't it?
It certainly does. But for the likes of R-Bar, this late safety car is an absolute nightmare. 6 seconds of time penalties is possibly going to drop him down a couple of positions, which he probably would have kept had it not come out. But
yeah, I think the big winner here, though, is actually going to be Timmy, who... Yeah. If we look at the penalty situation, Tom Robbo is 1 more in the way, as is Timmy. So if Tom Robbo was to get a penalty here, Tim could be...
Yeah, Tom Robbo would be frankly stupid to get himself a penalty now. He's got 1.2 seconds to Perez. He's on the last lap. He just needs to drive it, stay off every curve, and just bring it home. Yeah,
that's all he needs. Bean gets himself past Thiago. Thiago looks like he might score points here on his EU2 debut, and that's a fair achievement, actually. He's played the team game extremely well today, and he's going to get himself a reward for it as well.
Yeah, based off the first pit stops, that didn't really look like a possibility.
No, and Jarno's gone. I don't blame him for that at all.
Yeah.
That is absolutely heartbreaking. But I want to hear everybody's thoughts in the comment section on the stream. Who is your driver of the day? For the moment, for me, it's this guy, P7 Thiago. I can't, if he can hold on to that. So situation, he's only got 3 seconds. None of the guys behind him are going to jump him.
Yeah,
he might get himself still, so he might end up P7
as Tom Robbo wins
Spanish Grand Prix. Perez will come by Timmy. Ricky into 4th. Arbar. Bean jumps up to 4th. And Thiago not quite 65 second away from P6. JSAC P8, Mazda P9. Matt will get P10 and a valuable point. The Wizard comes home in 11th. His no penalty antics not quite enough on this occasion. Safety car coming in too early for him. Jamie, Wisey Boy, Matrix, the other cars at the back of the pack, and then Yorno, of course, retiring late on, but was still classified.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give my Driver of the Day award to Tom Robbo. I think, well, he's gone from P2 to P1. The qualifying performance and the composure shown in the race was exceptional. I'm
going to give mine to Tiago. I think that as much as Tom Robbo's performance was magnificent, and let's be honest, it was never in doubt for him once, and especially once Yorno had that mistake, the win was his to lose. But Tiago doing the dirty side of the dirty work rather of F1, playing the team game, and played that tactical masterstroke to stay out under that low safety car to get himself some valuable points in P7. So great job for him. Tom Robbo, of course, as we just said, with the victory. Timmy in second place and Perez in third. Bean on his EU2 debut comes home in P4. Ricky in P5. Arbar drops behind the Haas on penalties. Tiago, of course, at P7. JSAC in P8. Mozza P9 and Matt P10. Wizard, Jamie, Wisey Boy and Matrix. We are next finishes down to P14. Yorno in P15 was a lap down but is still classified. Your retirees then: Stumpy, KV, Raggy, Emir and Tichy. And that was the Spanish Grand Prix.
Pretty good race, given how we thought it may pan out with possible DRS train.
Certainly is. Last lap drama, as always, from EU2. They never leave us hanging, do they? Really? There's always something goes on at the end of the race. Tactically, it was something to behold throughout. There was the opportunity for a couple of guys to try something different, but in the end, the man who put in that absolutely outstanding qualifying lap has come away with the victory, and you can't say it's anything other than fully deserved.
Yeah, I think from lap 1 it was certainly his race to lose, that's for sure.
So Tom Robbo then, our man on the top step. Let's see if we can get any of them in for an interview. Do you do the honours, Joel?
Yes.
And I shall pull up the AlphaTauri, a familiar sight after an EU2 race nowadays. As we wait for our 3 podium sitters to join the party. Perez, I'm not sure, will join. He doesn't very often, so we will see if we can get Tom Robbo and Timmy.
Shall I add Perez anyway, just in case he does decide he wants to join?
Go for it. We'll get started then with P3 now he's arrived. Perez, how was that for you? Yeah? No? Oh, go on. Yeah, so we thought you did pretty well, especially that first stint on the soft tyre. Getting them to 10 laps through was fairly impressive, it's particularly the times you were posting. Well, well, the one crumb of comfort, I suppose, is that you've still managed to get yourself on the podium, and next time out, probably get a better result. Fingers crossed. Yeah. But, congratulations on P3 though, mate. Well played. As much as you don't think it's a great result, it is definitely well worth it.
Thank you, guys.
No worries. It's Timmy. EU2's dark horse, springing up again with a podium. I just want to know, how tightly were you clenching before that safety car came out?
Squeaky bum when it comes to tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think realistically I shouldn't be here. I mean, I did 2 laps of practice and I got to count all the lucky stars for that safety car because I was on just before about 74% on the front side. So I was pretty much sitting duck for the guys behind.
Yeah. But, you say you had to count your lucky stars, but you had to be there to make it count.
Fair point, yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah. So it's always worth it. Just keep plodding along. It's like Matrix managed to get himself back into the pack, having had that early incident. So you play the hand you're given, and you played it very well tonight. Were you aware that you potentially could have got the win if the young man in front of you made one more mistake?
I think I was on 2 warnings as well.
Yeah.
I was just, I wasn't pushing it really. There's no point in not going to catch Tom.
Hmm.
Yeah, past Perez and no point you're going to be 50 seconds and think 2.9 seconds in a row.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, mate. Great job on P2. Well played with your tyres. Fingers crossed we'll see you again very, very soon. No worries. Alright then. Come on, Tom, talk us through it. How easy was it?
Well, obviously it wasn't easy. I mean, I've had past experiences and watched the KVs defending in front of me. I was scared in that first stint.
Yeah.
And going for the overtake, I never knew whether I was going to get squeezed or whatever, but it was alright. And then on the hards, I think even with the VSA I overcut KV and all them. The teamwork made the dream work. Obviously, that was great from Thiago.
Yeah, he played really well, didn't he? There.
He really helped me there. And then, Perez started closing in on me towards the end because I backed off because I was on 2 warnings, and then the safety car came out. I stayed out, thinking that everyone came in, so I turned on the overtake, and I must have got past the line like a second or 2 just before the safety car got past the exit line. So just got ahead of it so I could get back round on Delta and come in for softs. And then on the restart I had 74 degrees on the rears because it doesn't let you real spin when the safety car isn't in the box, and Yorno was going about 20 mile an hour. And then he obviously had the same problem with like cold tyres, but he's on hards. At first I was like angry at what he was doing. I think I called him and said he was an idiot, but honestly it does not feel good. I thought it was gonna be maybe an intense battle for the win, with him on 100%, everyone on 100%, but he just went flying into the wall.
Lost it, didn't he? Yeah, he was gonna go then when he lost it. That was him going for his restart. So if he'd waited maybe a corner or so more, it might have been different. But as I said with Timmy, you've got to be there to take advantage, and you certainly were. And that, I have to say, was one of the best qualifying performances I've ever seen in this tier. And I mean, it's a strange saying, but I've probably gone grey the amount of racing I've seen in this tier. So that was something special. That lap.
Thank you.
Congratulations, mate. Your third win of the season, if I'm correct in saying.
I think so. I'm not
Yeah.
so sure.
Thank
you very much.
Well done. You have taken the lead of the championship as well off Snipes, with him not being here. So,
Yes, I'd see
2
him
races.
here today, but
2 races to go, so you can win it next week.
well,
Just to put
I
the
mean,
pressure on.
Yeah, I probably won't think about it too much because I mean I get shaky legs and I get so nervous in racing. But
No,
yeah,
if you weren't nervous, it
nice
wouldn't be
to keep
fun.
it cool. It wouldn't.
No, but congratulations, mate. Great job. You also got driver of the day from Joel, and your teammate got it from me. So a clean sweep for AlphaTauri tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.
No worries. So all that remains then is to say thank you all at home very much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you have, make sure you hit that follow button on Twitch. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you also follow us on all the social medias, so Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, so you can keep up to date on everything Contest of Speed. You can also check out our merch store if you want to buy yourself something cause related and support us in more than just your views. Tune in just over 2.5 hours time for AM2, where Kitten will be delighting you with his dulcet tones as the AM2 guys go racing around this Spanish circuit as well. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for EU1 with Limmy and Jack. Thank you all again very much for watching. We'll see you next week for the penultimate round of the championship from Azerbaijan. Good night.